Stan culture. In some ways, it's kind of cool. It's been facilitated by the internet and social media. It's a whole new platform to get people with alike interests together. That's very cool. It can send people to wider audiences and get people in Korea super worldwide famous when that would never have been a thing before. There are parts of stan culture, however, that we need to address. I am a culprit of some of these things, by the way. So I'm going to be an example of addressing your own bad behaviors and attempting to stop that. The biggest issue I have with stan culture is the objectification of real people. At this point, there are going to be people that say shit like, I'm an adult, I have sexual needs, they're also adults with sexual needs, they aren't babies, stop babying them. This isn't about babying them. Just because an adult has sexual desires does not mean they want to be sexually objectified constantly. And if you can't see something wrong with that, I don't know how to help you, to be honest. You have some problems.
You're nasty.
And there are many different facets of this issue. And I know why we do it psychologically. It's because if you are not aro ace, you feel sexual and romantic attraction, and therefore your brain is constantly looking for potential mates. However, we are more than evolution. We are more than our biology. We can make decisions to change. Make decisions to go, I don't want to do that anymore, so I'm not gonna. That's kind of what separates us from other animals. Y'all keep saying, like, humans are the best or the most intelligent species, and then you'll always fall back on biology and evolution whenever you don't want to change something. It's lazy. It's lazy and you don't want to take responsibility for your actions. Wow, I got into psychology and science again. Can I chill for like 3 seconds? No, absolutely not. So, naturally, especially as a teenager, you're going to look at these very attractive, funny, lovely people and imagine yourself dating them or having sex with them.
Nasty.
As a young teenager, it would be difficult for me to tell you to stop, but I'm going to plant the seed in your head now that what you're doing is wrong. And I know, you're going to get defensive. I tried to defend myself when I was younger and I was doing this. I did this too, by the way. I'm a pansexual, panromantic dude. Like, I did this too, with everyone. But just because a lot of people are doing it because of a biological standpoint doesn't make it right. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not making sense. Oh well. And if you think about it, it's really creepy. Like, I know our thoughts are our thoughts alone, but if you're a daydreamer like me and you're constantly, like, thinking about what it'd be like to, like, have sex or date these people, these real living, breathing humans, that's kind of creepy. You're doing that without their consent. And I'm not gonna sit here and say it's, like, rape or something, but, like, it's creepy. You have to admit, that's weird.
You're nasty.
You have to, like, stop yourself when you're doing that stuff because, like, this is a real person. If you have a fictional character that you want to do that for, fine. Knock yourself out, bitch. I can't stop you. There's nothing morally wrong with that. However, even if your thoughts do not exit your body through your mouth, they still shape you as a human being. So you need to take control of your thoughts when you have these thoughts. So that's sort of like the internal aspect of it, where you're just doing it because you're attracted to these people, but it's kind of creepy because they don't know you exist. But then there's the external aspect of it, when people outwardly tweet sexual shit at these famous people, outwardly speak about them in an objectifying way. Like, even if your brain doesn't objectify them, promoting the objectification of them is wrong in itself. And I get it, humans are like horny and shit. But like, can you guys stop being as horny for like 3 seconds? Why are you so horny?
Why? 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 Why?
Sex is great. Have sex. Do sexual things safely and responsibly.
What if I want to have sex before I get married?
Well, I guess you just have to be prepared to die.
When you have another consenting person of your age and there's no pedophilia going on, that's fine. But these people, usually looking at stan culture, can be up to 12 years older than you and don't know you exist. Like, I know I'm a K-pop stan, but this is for everyone, by the way. This is for Directioners, like, because I saw that shit with One Direction. This is for actors and actresses, like Tom Holland and shit. Like, it's just kind of disrespectful to only think of them in only a romantic and sexual light. Like, this is a human being with feelings and thoughts, and they breathe and shit, you know? It's very uncomfy. And another part of the external objectification of these people are roleplay groups and fan fiction. Oh boy, I am playing with fire talking about this, but it needs to be said. Your fan fiction is creepy. Your fan fiction is creepy whether it's just plainly romantic or it's just plainly sexual, or both. It's like a weird sexual assault I can't explain. But even that is not as bad as roleplay groups. And I'll get back to fan fiction in a second. But roleplay groups, there's something about roleplay groups about real human beings, not like characters and shit, that gross me out to the fullest extent. You are directly trying to live through a real person by playing as them, as another person does the same thing, and then you continue to do sexual or talk in a sexual and romantic manner. That's like direct. That's directly correlated with you. It's not like a little wall that you have when you're reading. Oh, actually, reader X, insert artist here, fan fictions are also like that. The wall is kind of gone with those. So I will put those in the category of roleplay groups. It's just fucking creepy. That's the summary. It's creepy. Like, you'll get defensive because I know you people read fan fiction. I know you do. And I'm not gonna sit here and like demonize you because once again, it's sort of a natural response, but I think we as a culture, a stan culture, need to like step back and realize that sometimes, even if it's widely accepted, that doesn't mean it's okay. Like, morally, this is very morally gray. Also, going back to fan fiction, if you want to write smut, go ahead, but don't do it with like real people. Because in my opinion, a person that used to be a writer, that's just lazy character creation. You're too lazy to create your own character to let out your sexual frustrations, so you use a real person. That's weird and lazy. Don't do that. Come on. We need better writers in this household. I want complex characters, original, interesting, and then they can do the sexy times, okay? That's fine, they're not real people. Do the sexy times, have romance. Artists and actors and actresses, real people, should not be used as in place of a character in your story. Because first of all, that makes you look like a lazy son of a bitch. And second of all, it's creepy. You're being gross. And throughout this video, I've been a complete hypocrite. I've done everything that I've said not to do, but the roleplay stuff, because that sort of hits a new level. That hits a new level of weird that I even my 14-year-old self could not surpass. This also brings up an interesting conversation about the types of people that stan certain people. I'm gonna bring K-pop into the conversation, even though this is broadly for all standing groups. K-pop has some good examples for me. I find it super interesting that straight men only stan girl groups. Straight women only stan boy groups. Bisexual and pansexual people only stan everyone. And ace and arrow people don't give a shit. That is super interesting if it's not one of the weirdest things in the world. Male celebrities have straight girl and gay guy stans. Women, gay girl and straight guy stans. It's so weird how our sexualities sort of guide our interests. And if that's not one of the creepiest natural things that we do, I don't know what to say. Now, I will admit, a part of straight guys not standing other guys is like the fear of being called gay, which that's a societal thing rather than a natural thing. That's just toxic masculinity at work again. But it's just so interesting. If I wasn't like here and watching this weird shit happening, like if I just take a step back and put a wall in between myself and what's going on, it's super interesting. It's really fascinating. I kind of want to do more research on this. But it's, in the end, it's so creepy. I don't care if it's like a biological or evolutionary thing that we do, is to find mates if you're not arrow ace. In the end, morally, it's creepy. And I think we should all do our best to sort of stray away from that. Do the best we can to do so. I know as like a horny 13-year-old, it's a bit difficult, but I'd rather it be a bit difficult than not plant the seed in your brain right now as when you're young. Because I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did, if that makes sense. Let's make a pact. Together we'll work towards not using real people as objects. If you want to use characters as objects, go ahead. They aren't real. But like, there's real people with thoughts and feelings. And sure, sometimes they want to have sex. But like, they consent to that with another human being. You did not walk up to them and ask them if you could write them getting dick down. In that sense, it's weird and borderline sexual assault, but I can't I don't know if I want to go there. Still trying to figure that part out, whether I think it's it's borderline. It's getting there. Okay, moral of the story, don't be fucking weird.